Another guest at the reception said that Lady Hussey's comments had been offensive, racist and unwelcoming.
Okay, conservative life on Mars, because we are living in strange times. And to continue with the strange times, I'm glad that I did not report on this as quickly as everybody else did. And now a lot of information has happened after a few days of the resignation of Lady Hussey with her encounter with this woman's name of the sistahspace, Ngozi Fulani, whose real name is actually Marlene Headley. Yes, her real name is Marlene Headley. She changed her name to Ngozi Fulani. And she is the head person and founder of an organization called sistahspace, who is supposed to be an Afro-Caribbean domestic abuse agency. So you will go to them if you are of that ethnic group and receive any type of information and help if you are in a domestic violence type of situation here. And we do applaud her for putting that together. And this is in the UK. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody kind of knows what's happening, but briefly, Lady Susan Hussey was one of the ladies in waiting. She is 83 of the dearly departed Elizabeth II, Queen Elizabeth II. So she has outlived the Queen. Now, what had happened is that Ngozi Fulani came to this event, and there is, I'm trying to confirm, but I think I'll just go ahead and mention this, that she wasn't directly invited to the event, but she came along as a +1 of somebody else. This is what I read, here and there, but anyway, she went to this event. She went to the event dressed in full ethnic garb, ethnic clothing, and she has a head full of dreadlocks, thick dreadlocks. So she had a very ethnic look about her. Lady Hussey went up to her and basically asked her where she came from. And Ngozi Fulani did not answer her directly, but just kept saying, I am from sistahspace. Okay, but where are you really from? You just can't be, you can be from an organization, but I think she, looking at the dress, how this woman was dressed, and her hairstyle, she wanted to know basically what ethnic group or what country are you representing here. Which I think it's okay to ask. And so basically this ensued to where Lady Hussey was just pretty insistent about getting to the root of the matter is what ethnic group or what you're trying to represent with this particular type of clothing. And somehow Fulani was offended by this, which I would have to say, I think this is just really bunk. It's really, really bunk, because I think Susan Hussey is 83 years old. Fulani is supposed to be 60-something years old. If you are in any kind of situation, you don't know what a person is going to ask. However, you being a women of age, if you don't care for the question, there are polite ways of excusing yourself out of the conversation versus being evasive, especially when you're at an event with the royal family and they're going to be inquisitive about everybody around them. And this just seemed to be so blown out of proportion. There are so many times where here in the United States, let's say you go to a powwow. This is a ceremony that Native Americans put together, and they do various dance. Everybody comes in their native form of dress. If I go up to one of the dancers, hi, how are you? What type of what tribe are you from? Is this a national dress for your tribe? Which is, if at a powwow people should expect these types of questions, especially from folks that are not Indian. The same thing with this particular situation. I think that if you're purposely going into an environment where you're not wearing traditional Western style clothes or expected clothing, you're choosing to wear an ethnic group clothing or something that would symbolize an ethnic group outside of Great Britain, then you should not have too many problems of answering the question. I just think that this was just a plot, and just to try to prove a point or something, calling it racism, where I am so happy that a lot of British commentators and British vloggers and people on TikTok are basically calling this woman out on the carpet for this silliness here. Such as, you can't stop somebody asking you a question, especially if you do things to promote a question, such as wearing a particular style of ethnic group clothing. Of course, perhaps Lady Hussey was just interested in knowing what that is and maybe would recall the fact of, oh yeah, I visited that country a long time ago and they had the most beautiful this and that and the other. Totally fine. But this woman is a member of the royal family or an associate member of the royal family. She's not going to go out of her way to try to embarrass somebody. She knows decorum and how to be a lady a lot more than most of the young girls out here on the street, especially when you have singers out here singing about their crotch. And we all think that's wonderful. This woman is a lady. Now, I will say this, maybe her insistence may have been a little too much. Now, if you want to say that, I'm totally fine with that. But for her to ask the question and then claim it's racism when you came in wearing something that looked like it was from another country outside of Great Britain, then I think that onus is on you. You promoted this. You can't stop a person from asking a question. And if it was that offensive, then it was on your onus to say, excuse me, I need to refill my cup. I'm feeling a little parched. And excuse yourself. And that would have been the end of that. You're 60 years old. You should know how to do these types of things, especially if you are running a service for domestic violence people. I would expect you to know how to navigate these hard waters here and not look at putting up something for clout and so forth, especially for your organization. I also did some more digging into this organization that she has called sistahspace. One of their donators, benefactors, would be the British form of BLM. That would be Black Lives Matter. Now, they received 10,000, that would be pounds, from this particular group. Now, the group has since changed its name to Liberation Movement UK, I assume since, Black Lives Matter is having its own problems. Most people seem to think this was a setup and a way to try to get clout and so forth. I am on the same length too. Conservative life on Mars, we're living on strange times. What side of the fence are you on? Are you on the Lady Hussey side, or are you on Marlene, aka Ngozi Fulani side?